Stalinist. The term Stalinist refers to someone or something that is associated with the policies, beliefs, or practices of Joseph Stalin, the former leader of the Soviet Union from the mid-1920s until his death in 1953. Stalinism is often used to describe a particular period in Soviet history characterized by authoritarianism, totalitarianism, and the suppression of political dissent. Here are a few examples to illustrate the usage of Stalinist. 1. Political ideology. A Stalinist political ideology is one that follows the principles and practices of Stalin's rule. It often emphasizes a strong centralized government, the control of industry and agriculture by the state, and the suppression of political opposition. For example, a political party that advocates for these principles may be referred to as a Stalinist party. 2. Repression and purges. During Stalin's regime, there were widespread purges and repressions targeting perceived enemies of the state. A Stalinist regime is characterized by its use of terror and violence to silence dissent and maintain control. For instance, the Great Purge of the late 1930s, which resulted in the execution or imprisonment of millions of people, is a prime example of Stalinist repression. 3. Propaganda and cult of personality. Stalinist regimes heavily relied on propaganda and the creation of a cult of personality around the leader. This involved promoting an idealized image of Stalin as a strong and infallible leader. For instance, statues, portraits, and slogans glorifying Stalin were displayed throughout the Soviet Union during his rule. 4. Command economy. Stalin implemented a command economy in the Soviet Union, where the state had complete control over the means of production and distribution. This included collectivization of agriculture and the establishment of state-owned industries. A Stalinist economic system is characterized by centralized planning, strict government control, and limited individual economic freedom. 5. Authoritarian rule. Stalinist regimes are known for their authoritarian rule, which involves the concentration of power in the hands of a single leader or a small group of individuals. This often leads to the suppression of civil liberties, censorship, and the absence of democratic institutions. For example, Stalin's government had strict control over the media, education, and cultural activities. It's important to note that the term Stalinist is often used in a negative or critical context due to the repressive nature of Stalin's regime and the human rights abuses that occurred during his rule. However, it is also worth acknowledging that there are differing interpretations and debates surrounding the legacy of Stalinism.